It's Monday, November 22nd. Coming up live on The View. Dig into the hottest topics on TV. From why Heidi Klum says the secret to taking years off your looks is putting on the pounds, to Sheen's accuser claiming he got violent with her on the night of his rampage, and whether Prince Charles is breaking royal rules by saying Camilla could be queen. And the votes are in, so find out which View crew member is taking center stage as winner of The View's Backstage talent show. Plus, former governor and Fox News host Mike Huckabee is telling the Red, White, and View if he's thinking about a run for the White House in 2012. Then, Beyonce's telling you how she's giving you the best seat in the house at her sold-out concert. And her mom Tina's unveiling their signature line of sexy styles. All that, hot topics, and more, coming up live on The View.
To The View. First of all, we want to start off by congratulating our friend Justin Bieber, who went 4 for 4 at the American Music Awards last night. Yeah, including Entertainer of the Year, and there was not a dry eye in the house during his acceptance speech. Take a look.
I really got this opportunity really about a year and a half ago, and really was embraced by a man named Usher Raymond. And I don't know, but I feel like he's had such an amazing career, and it would be only right if I invited him up here to share it with me. Not only my mentor, but my best friend and my big brother. I love you, man.
It's kind of nice.
You know, just a few days before that, I went to do an interview with Justin Bieber because he is one of our 10 most fascinating people. As Joy says, I am in my plug-a-day.
She's in her plug-a-day mode.
Plug-a-day, because 10 Most Fascinating People is on December 9th, and he's one of them. And, you know, there's all this stuff about his hair. You know, because it's, you know, like the Beatles, the hair is...
That's right.
And he told... he keeps doing this. Yeah, you know, the way a woman goes... But he said, big scoop, that he may even think of cutting it. That he's had enough with the hair. But, you know, Usher and Justin Timberlake were both there when he was beginning.
Right.
And he chose Usher, and this was when Justin Bieber was not...
Right,
well
when he
known,
was a YouTube phenomenon.
Yeah, both of them were, though.
It's kind of fabulous. And it was nice to see an actual, real moment between performers. People always say, oh, those moments are fake. That, I think, was real.
We met his mother, too, who looks like about 12 years old. Justin Bieber's mother. Very sweet lady, yeah.
You know, Prince Charles surprised royal watchers when he was asked about the possibility of his wife, Camilla Parker Bowles, becoming queen, and answered, we'll see, won't we? That could be. Now, that's kind of, you know, a little bit ballsy, breaking a few rules,
so
I think.
If he became king, she wouldn't normally technically be, what would it be called, princess and consort or something like that?
Well, the male is the consort. I don't know what they call the female.
But they wouldn't give her the title of...
She wouldn't be queen.
Well,
So then how would she be queen?
Technically, she could be queen.
Yeah.
But
the official title, if they didn't change the rules, it wouldn't be queen.
Well, she's divorced, and so they don't allow it. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that he's the Prince of Wales, but she is not the Princess of Wales. She's the Duchess of Cornwall, because people remember Diana so well as being Princess of Wales that they would be very angry if she took that title. There's also talk now about, well, and we've heard this before, would he say, I don't want to be King Charles, and let it go
to
William?
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
No.
No,
It's
you wait
not
too
going to
long
happen
for that.
because...
A moment in the sun, give it up.
Because we've heard about Elizabeth. People have said to Elizabeth, who's now Queen Elizabeth, what is she, 84? Are you going to go in favor of Charles? And they're very traditional, and that
Well, she
won't
said
happen.
in the movie Queen, did you see the movie The Queen? She said, I made a pledge to God or something and to my people that I would, you know, die with the crown on my head or something to that effect. Sounds like a margarine commercial.
You know, Queen Victoria, Queen Victoria, who did not do commercials, ruled for 63 years. She died at the age of 81, and her poor son, Edward VII, who was also known as Bertie. I used to call him that.
Oh, did you call him Bertie?
I'm not sure I did. He became king at 59, and he died 9 years later.
Yeah. That's the movie that's playing now, The King's Speech, with...
No, that's not him.
That is Bertie.
No, but it's a different Bertie. That is the man, that's Queen Elizabeth's father. It's a wonderful movie, by the way, about how the king
Queen Elizabeth's father was
started.
not Victoria's son?
Queen Elizabeth's father was not Victoria's son. I think there was
Oh my God, how do you keep up with that?
I am my own grandpa.
No, there was King George.
Jeez.
There was King George. Where was he? He became King George VII.
When Victoria passed, I believe Bertie...
It was King George VII.
Right. And he... There's too many of them. There's too many of them. Who cares?
Really try
They
some
had it,
names.
and then it was gone. You know, it's a week since Prince William announced his engagement, still speaking of the royals, to Kate Middleton. And the backlash has already begun. A London bishop fired off a Facebook rant saying, I give the marriage 7 years, like other shallow celebrities. He's a bonehead.
He is a bonehead because William just rescued a guy, I think, this past day on the top of some mountain somewhere. And to even go off on him personally, this guy's a bishop. He called it expensive frippery. That's funny to me. And national flim flam. And he
National flim flam.
Well, the English always could turn a phrase, you know.
Let them be.
You know, leave him alone for goodness sakes.
But you know,
Give them some credit. They were together 7 years. They waited. 9 years. You know, got to know each other.
But you know what? Wait a second.
Positivity.
Depth in relationships in the royal family is not the usual thing. Let's face it. I mean, really.
well, that's just
they're
this generation. Queen Elizabeth is still queen.
And Philip. No, I mean,
And
but
Philip.
you think that
Well, the
Philip and
next
Elizabeth was
generation.
not a
And how long
match?
has Prince Charles been with
It's all been a match.
Camilla?
Everything's a match.
Well, that's part of what,
This is generational,
Barbara was saying about the Princess of Wales. You know, one of the reasons why the English, I think, would have stormed, as Bill would say, stormed the troops and burned them out, is because he was involved with Camilla Parker Bowles for years. That's the woman he really loved.
Right.
And, you know, once those marriages get arranged, you know, the Queen has the ability, as she did with her sister, to say, no, you can't marry him. You're going to marry this person.
She's the decider.
But I think... No more. That's right. I think that the kids now have said, you know what, we're marrying who we want to.
Right.
Like it or not, or... You know, bite me. I'm marrying
This girl Middleton has been vetted by everyone, including the footmen at Buckingham Palace at this point. 8 years of her. They know exactly where she's coming from.
I want to ask you a question. The fact that she now is wearing as her engagement ring, Princess Diana's, does that make anybody a little uncomfortable?
I find it
who
nauseating.
gave it to her? It's not like she went and took it. He gave it to her.
I know, but
that
still,
really means a lot.
But look at Joy and I both feel it's a little.
I think it's creepy.
I don't know. Plenty of people pass down rings in family, and I've known many people who take the ring from a mother or grandmother.
When they were in such a tragic event, it's weird.
Even in that, because
it doesn't take away from the love.
And it's also, you know, a sign of respect that he is showing for his mom. And this is his gift to her. And, you know, some people might feel that it's a little bit strange, but, you know, if someone loves you and they give you something of their mother's, regardless of how their mother died, it's kind of a big deal. And you feel like, oh, maybe we will last a little longer. Who knows? You know what? We're going to keep lasting because, well, we're 14 years here already. We're going to be right back with even more. I'll take it.
Promise her.
For more Hot Topics. You know, supermodel Heidi Klum says the secret of looking young is don't be too thin. Because if you don't have any meat on your bones, your face will look gaunt, making you look 5 to 10 years older.
Well, somebody's entering menopause. Somebody's entering menopause.
I would like to comment.
Yes,
because
please do.
If you have a fuller face, it takes away the lot of wrinkles. On the other hand, as in my case, since I have gained 10 pounds, my face looks good, but I cannot zip up my pants.
But everybody, you look so good.
Everybody says
Your
I
face
look
looks
good.
so good
I
full.
know. It's either the face or the fanny. And in this case,
but we're not looking at your butt on television. Everybody's looking at your face.
You do have a cute tushy, too,
I
though.
also have a very good idea for you.
What's your idea,
And I
please?
think it would be a good idea, maybe get the pants just slightly bigger.
Yeah. Good idea.
They are all being
Let the old
let
size
out.
go.
This is good. You know, Capri Anderson.
I love that name.
Capri Anderson, the adult film actress at the center of the Charlie Sheen hotel
what?
room.
She's an adult
She's
film.
an adult film
Porn
actress.
star.
Like
She's
you.
a porn star.
No, not like her.
Like I used to be. And if you can find my movies, I'll give you $10. Now, she's at the center of Charlie Sheen's hotel room rampage, and she claims on tonight's Nightline that Sheen was so out of control, he threatened to kill her, and this morning her lawyer told Good Morning America that she's filing a criminal complaint against Charlie. Today.
Now tell me, is that a criminal complaint and later followed by a civil suit?
With some
cash underneath it?
Why didn't
Likely.
she do this? Why has she waited?
Well, this is the question. This is the question. When the police came and rescued your behind from the bathroom where you was butt naked, why didn't you, allegedly.
Maybe she's waiting for that 3-picture
Why
movie
didn't
deal.
you say to someone, ow, here's where he twisted my arm, and ow, here's where, but you didn't say nothing. You put on your Facebook page, I'm fine. Now, see, people read that stuff, and then they report it. So you're going to have a hard time.
I love this quote. She said, when I became really uncomfortable is when he put his hands around my neck. Oh, you know what? When my pants are too tight, I get really uncomfortable. But when someone's trying to strangle me, I don't think uncomfortable is the word to use. Call me crazy.
Crazy.
Maybe she was traumatized. I mean, you know.
She might have been so traumatized.
Maybe she's waiting to see if he had some money to offer
No,
her.
but, you know, we got to say it. You know, tonight, Bristol, speaking like Karen, tonight, Bristol Penguin.
Just give the news, please.
I'm trying.
No editorializing.
That's
Ms.
right.
Whoopi.
Jennifer Grey and Kyle Massey face off in the finale of Dancing with the Stars. Any predictions?
And Bristol.
Yes, I said Bristol.
You said Bristol.
Now,
Yes.
for me, I think it's going to be between Kyle and Jennifer. I think Kyle is the underdog, and I'm hoping that Kyle comes through and
Okay, you're going to lose
I
tomorrow.
love Kyle, but I do think it's going to be Kyle, whom I love.
think it's
I
gonna
could
be
watch him
Kyle?
all day long. I think that pairing is spectacular. I think it's the best pairing they've had on the show.
So you think
Kyle
it'll be
and
Kyle?
Lacey, but I think it's going to come down between Bristol
And Jennifer?
Kyle.
You know-
No, Bristol and Kyle.
We have
No,
a bet.
Jennifer's not getting knocked out.
The final three will all be here on Wednesday when we also reveal the winner of the bet Joy and I have.
Because your bet was...
My bet is Bristol will win. Bristol will definitely
Because?
win.
You might be right.
Because the Tea Party is voting for Bristol. That's
But they
why.
also take into account the judges' scores as well.
Just so you all know that we are not fooling around, here's a picture of the dough.
Oh, yeah.
We put it, you know,
200.
that's $200.
Those are Sarah Palin's gloves.
If Bristol wins Dancing with the Stars, because the other two dancers are, you know, technically better than her, if she wins, will that make you really concerned for 2012?
I'm concerned now for 2012.
And can I mention that Sarah Palin is I hate to do this, but you're going to hear it every day. She is also, along with Justin Bieber, one of the people on our 10 most
How
fascinating
many days
people.
before this thing airs?
You know that quote when I asked, you know, could you beat Barack Obama? And she said, yes, I can. That came from that.
Oh, from what?
And furthermore,
Yes.
furthermore,
When is it on?
I'm going to ask President Obama something like that because I'm doing. Oh, I hate
you're
like
fascinated?
no, but he's on a special
Day
program.
after
Thank you, Whoopi.
That's right.
The day after,
Barbara.
after Thanksgiving, Friday night at 10 o'clock, President and Mrs. Obama. I'm finished plugging for the
But
next
hold
2
on a
seconds.
second.
Barbara, this is
Sherry,
not
you have business to do, and damn it, you need to do it now.
Right. What we have to do now. Last week, we put our behind-the-scenes crew in the spotlight on the View's Backstage Talent Show, and we asked you to pick the winner who will perform live on tomorrow's show. The votes have been counted, and the winner is Eric Kendra, one of our cameramen and pianist extraordinaire.
Are you kidding me?
All right, so
had no
Eric,
idea.
congratulations, Eric. We are going to see you
start crying.
And we will be back with the fantastic Mike Huckabee when we return.
Why don't we start?
Governor Mike Huckabee, who was a presidential candidate in the last election, is a pundit now, very well received on his Fox News show, which is on Saturdays and Sundays. But with Democrats on the ropes, the big question mark on the Republican ticket is he thinking about throwing himself into the 2012 presidential race? So let's find out. Please welcome Mike Huckabee.
Thank you, Barbara. Great to be with all of you again. Thank you very much.
So, as you heard me mentioning, Sarah Palin is going to be one of my 10 most fascinating people on December 9th.
That's 5, but
there's going to be a lot more coming up. But the big question is, she says she's deciding whether or not she's going to run for president. So, will you run for president?
Well, first of all, I want to know, am I number 11? I mean, I didn't make the 10. 13. I just wanted to check and see what's even getting close.
Better than 14, but...
It's for me a decision that I'll make later in the year, next year.
Based on what?
Based on two things. One, whether or not there's, any illness. If people are sick of me, I probably won't do it. But the serious questions are, is there enough financial support and enough organizational support? Because having done this before, the one thing I can tell you, I am not jumping into the pool if it doesn't have water in it. I've done that, been there, and it's a tough and grueling process. And I think we start the presidential process way too early. By the time we get to a point where we're really ready to decide, people are already worn out of the candidates, worn out of the issues, and it's created by the punditry who like the horse race. But we ought to be focusing on policy and not the process. We went through that entire process last time. Nobody asked me about education. Nobody talked about health care. I was trying to talk about things like jobs and the economy, and all they wanted to know was how much money have you raised? How many staffers do you have in Iowa? What kind of field operation have you got in New Hampshire? And so it was process questions. We need to elect a president based on what that person does, believes, and how he would handle problems, not whether or not he can raise money.
Speaking of problems...
Let me just ask one follow-up. Sarah Palin, in our interview, said that she thought she could beat Barack Obama. If you ran, could you beat Barack Obama?
Well, I wouldn't run if I didn't think I could. I mean, obviously, you don't run in a race thinking, boy, I'd love to go and lose. That'd be a lot of fun. But I think it's going to be harder to beat Barack Obama than a lot of Republicans are thinking, because he is the president. He's going to have $1 billion starting out on his war chest. There is an extraordinary advantage of an incumbent. And I'll tell you something else people don't think about. A divided government is good for the executive branch. The gift that the Republicans gave to him was that they're going to control at least the House of Representatives, and they don't have, and he doesn't have a filibuster-proof Senate. What that means is that when the executive and the legislative branches fight, the executive always wins. I was a governor 10.5 years with a very overwhelming Democrat legislature. If you get something done, it's because you are a great consensus builder. If you don't, they're bums and they didn't let you do it.
Your party was the party of no for the last 2.5 years or so. What makes you think that since they now have the majority in the House, they're going to be the party of yes? Well, it's going to be gridlock to the max now.
But, Joy, some of the things they were saying no to, the American people wanted them to say no to. Taking over health care, ignoring the fact that...
That's not necessarily true, Mike.
Well, no,
a lot of people like the way that Obamacare is working, as they call it.
The majority of people didn't, though. The majority of people didn't like the way they were proposing
But when they're discussing health care and the Republicans now, they need to really think very hard. Do people want to have pre-existing conditions off the table? Do they really want their kids up to the age of 26 to not be covered when they can't get a job and they can't find housing? I mean, really, you guys are going to have some very hard work to do on that thing.
But also some very important work in recognizing that you cannot add 32 million people to a system, take $500 billion out of it, and add the level of benefits and do that for less money.
Okay,
that was disingenuous.
Let me have one follow-up question, please. Sure. In this case, this is one thing I want to say, because I'm interested in the deficit and reducing it
and
also.
if I run, you are going to vote for me.
And I will be your running mate.
Right.
Yeah, right. But
that ain't happening, I know.
Warren Buffett, one of the great gazillionaires in the country, and a lot of 40 other of the nation's multimillionaires have come out and said that they would like to be taxed They would like the rich to be taxed. Now, what is wrong? If the millionaires say they want, take my money, why is the Republican Party against that?
Well, no, here's the deal. He's not a millionaire. He's a billionaire. It's not going to affect his lifestyle.
A billionaire.
There's 375,000 people in America that make $1 million a year more. On that website where they've asked all these millionaires to sign up, you know how many have signed up out of 375,000? 40. Here's what I say to them. No, here's what I say to them. If you want to pay more taxes, there's not a law in the United States that keeps you from doing it. Write a check. Write the biggest check that'll make you feel less guilty. But don't impose...
It's not about guilt. It's about reducing the deficit.
But the point is, if Warren Buffett wants to give his last dime to the federal government and thinks they'll spend it better than he will, let him do it. But most people who work really, really hard for their money believe that they will spend that money better than the federal government will spend it because they watch what the federal government does with it, and they have no confidence in it.
I don't know how you're going to do it. I can't wait to see it.
So I'm just curious. It's just me, you know. You and I spent some time together this past weekend, and no, we're not going to tell you why or how.
No.
But now, if you were to lay out a program to make the country better, to do it better than Obama's doing it, what's the first 2 things you think you need to do?
Well, the first thing is we need to change the tax system. It's wrong because it penalizes productivity and it subsidizes irresponsibility. If you want a behavior, you reward it. You get more of it. If you want less of a behavior, you consequence it.
So what? Would you extend the tax cuts?
The fair tax, which is a program that's built on the idea that you tax consumption, not productivity. See, you would eliminate income tax on individuals and corporations. You would eliminate taxes on inheritance and savings and dividends and investments and capital gains. And you would tax people when they bought something, because consumption tax is tax that everybody pays at the point of consumption.
It's kind of unfair, isn't it? Sales tax, because it's a typical. Everybody pays the same thing. Well, whether you make $20,000 a year or $1 gazillion a year.
But in the fair tax, there is a pre-made proposal that untaxes all of your basic necessities. So the bottom third of the economy actually ends up doing better than the people at the top, because people at the top spend more.
Governor, we know that there's something very much that you want to talk about.
Yes. And is aside from platform and all, but I do like that idea. But this is a great message for kids. It's your new book, Can't Wait Till Christmas. And it's a true story, I think, based off of a chapter of your last book. And I think that it's wonderful if you'd like to say a couple words about it.
Well, Can't Wait Till Christmas is the story of how my sister and I would unwrap the Christmas presents that we would get that were under the tree, and we would play with all of our stuff, and then before my parents would get home, we'd wrap it back up and put it under the tree. We were just so impatient. So we took the story, made a children's book out of it. I'll tell you, this story is so simple, even Congress can understand it. So,
not 300 pages.
Yeah. It's easy and it's fun, but it has a great little lesson, and that is that patience is a good virtue and that we ought to practice it with our families.
But you know what? You're always a very good guest. And whether you run or not, you're welcome back in the program.
He's my favorite Republican.
Any chances I ever have.
That's true. Next year we'll move you up to 11 on 10 Most Fascinating
Things. That's the end of his career.
That's it.
Thanks to Mike Huckabee. His new book is in stores now, and members of our audience are going home with a copy that the whole family will enjoy. We'll be right back with Beyonce and her mom, you know.
Have a great day. Take a little time to enjoy the view. And you know, Barbara's show is coming up.